contrast to this, where you have a dark, sultry, strong, powerful woman, you have a more light and airy and more delicate and stereotypically feminine portrait of a woman. And this one is called Poorly Gobelard in the Ball Dress by Bertha Morisot. Bertha Morisot. So, like always, we're going to be taking a screen grab of this picture. Sorry for the interference. I have to put my iPad on airplane mode so it doesn't do that strange static thing. So, let's open up our Goodnotes app and insert it as a new document. So, what can we see from this painting? It appears to be a young woman. I would say she's about 19 years old, possibly. She wears a very delicate dress of blue, what it looks like chiffon, and very delicate fabric. She has a bunch of flowers, what it looks like, around her waist. Her hair is done up in this elaborate bun with these hairpins all the way through it. She's sitting what appears to be, well, to me it looks like a bench, but it could be anything really because it's just a mass of blue. She seems relaxed-ish, but from her expression, I don't know whether or not it's intentional or not, but her eyes look red, like she's been crying, and she doesn't appear to be smiling either. She looks like she's looking over here somewhere. She doesn't at all look that happy. So the painting itself, you can see very, very clearly the artist's brush marks. Very, very rough strokes and very, I guess, raw kind of painting here. Lots of blobs and splodges of colour, which end up in this kind of almost abstract looking picture. I think you can actually see the lines on the medium this painter, this artist has used. Can you see that there? Looks like a checkered sort of a background. The background is kind of nondescript. It's literally just a wash of colours here. Equally, whatever she's sitting on is just there as a solid colour. No detail or anything like that. So, what can we learn about this particular painting? So, this is Poorly Gobelard in the Ball Dress by Bertha Morisot in 1887. It was painted oil on canvas. So what can we learn second day of Women's History Month. Remember, we're still in March. This is March the 2nd. We feature the work of the Impressionist painter Berthe Morisot, who was extremely bold in her work. When we look at her paintings, we can see how extreme she could be in following the Impressionist ideas of depicting the world as it's seen subjectively, not how it should be depicted objectively. Some parts of her work are pretty abstract, and today, March the 2nd, 2021, is the 126th anniversary of her death. Look how the portrait is painted. We see thousands of loose, but at the same time controlled brush strokes thrown on the canvas slightly randomly. That's exactly what we said, didn't we? Which gives us the feeling of liveliness and spontaneity, but at the same time they seem to convey the mood of the young sitting lady clearly. She is excited by the perspective of the upcoming ball. Maybe it's her first one, maybe some enamored chevalier is waiting for her there. When I absolutely did not get that impression that she's excited. She looks like she's terrified and scared and sad all at the same time. But, like all art, it's down to personal, subjective view. Pauline Gobelard, 1867 to 1946, was Berthe Morisot's niece. So this is Berthe's niece. Being the eldest of three children of Theodore Gobelard and Yves Morisot. Berthe's sister, Pauline, and her two siblings moved in with Berthe after their mother's death in 1893, living alongside their cousin, Julie Manette, Berthe's daughter, with Eugene Manette, brother of Edouard Manette. There's a lot of names going on there. Raised in this bustling artistic environment, Pauline Gobelard, like her sister Jeannie and her cousin Julie, aspired to become painters themselves, very much influenced and encouraged by Berthe Morisot. The latter obtained permission for Pauline to have supervised sessions to copy paintings at the Louvre Museum in June 1886 and arranged for her to attend Henri Gouffeau's classes at the Académie Valentino. Whilst her sister and cousin respectively married the writer Paul Valéry, 1871 to 1945, and the painter Ernest Rouart, 1874 to 1942, son of the engineer, collector and painter Henri Rouart, 1833 to 1912. Pauline never married. She dedicated her life to painting, regularly exhibiting her works at the Salon des Indépendants from 1894 to 1912, and at the Salon du Automne until her death in 1946. By the time Morisot painted this portrait in 1887, she had already established herself as one of Impressionism's key figures, and as the only female painter to exhibit her work at the first exhibition of Impressionist painters in 1874. Morisot took part in all the Impressionist group shows until the last one in 1886, except in 1879, having given birth to her daughter Julie in 1878. So there is a lot of information here. A lot of information. But we are going to take it chunk by chunk and make some notes. Pauline Gobelard Yes. And it was painted in 1887. 1887 by Bertha Morisot. By Bertha Morisot. Alright. So let's change it to black so we can write some notes here. So, who was this Paulie? So, Paulie was, I believe, the cousin. Yes. Oh, so Paulie was Bertha's niece. So, Paulie, Paulie was Bertha's niece. And it also described these very thick, almost random brush strokes. Almost random brush strokes. When we look at her paintings, we can see how extreme she could be in following the impression. So, she painted subjectively, not objectively. So it was a subjective, not objective view of the world. Okay. We see thousands of loose, but at the same time controlled brush strokes. So loose, but controlled. Loose, but controlled strokes, which gives the feeling of liveliness and spontaneity. Morrison's paintings portraiture already established herself. Paulie never married. So Paulie never married, but dedicated her life to art. She is a female painter, and she was the only female painter to exhibit her work at the first exhibition of Impressionist painters in 1874. So, those are our brief notes about this painting. Just kind of like the main facts. So, just to recap, this painting is called Paulie Gobelard in the Ball Dress, and it was painted in 1887 by Bertha Morisot. And it was a subjective, not objective, view of the world. The subject, who was called Paulie, moved in with Bertha when her mother died in 1893. So Paulie moved in with the painter, Bertha, who was her aunt. Paulie was raised in a highly artistic environment and was encouraged to become an artist herself. Paulie never married but dedicated her life to art and was one of the first female artists to exhibit in an Impressionist exhibition, which was called the First Exhibition of Impressionist Painters. So, what else can we learn about this? Well, we made a very accurate observation that the brushstrokes were very thick and almost random, like really flung on there. And this was intentional because it gave the feeling of life and vibrance and spontaneity into this painting. It's like loose strokes, but you can see that they are very deliberate and controlled. And apparently Paulie was excited about the upcoming ball in this painting. It showed her excitement, but to me, I don't see that. I think she looks worried and sad at the same time. So personally, this is one of my favourite paintings that we've looked at on here. It's just not my style. There's not enough kind of going on with it. It's a bit too bland and kind of wishy-washy for me, and the subject matter, again, it doesn't captivate me or kind of inspire me. But what I do like about it is the rough and ready nature of it, how you can see all the artist's brush strokes and the actual evidence of the artist here. I love that. I can just picture them, you know, doing this painting and just breathing life into it. So, thank you so much for listening, guys. I really hope you found this to be relaxing as well as informative, and I look forward to seeing